Hello everyone, George here, Catholic Positive Energy. Nice to see everyone. I'm sorry that I'm coming on a little later than I normally do. I've had a very busy day, but I haven't forgotten about you guys. I care about you a lot. That's why I'm here every Tuesday. And it's great to be here. This broadcast is going to be about how to deal with anger. Now, I'm not the biggest expert in the world, but I certainly do have a lot of life experience, and I want to talk about anger. Let's talk about anger, okay? Now, it's not a bad thing to get angry about things, to go, if your day isn't going as spectacular as you would like it. It's okay to be angry at times, but what I've learned, and I've learned this the hard way, is it's not okay to be angry when there's lots of people around you. And when they see that you're angry, when you start yelling and grinding your teeth when you talk, or showing that you're angry with your body language. Like, I've seen this a lot growing up, seeing my teachers angry at the class because we misbehaved a lot and talked a lot when they didn't want us to. Here's one thing you may not realize, and I've realized this much later in life, and I wish I realized it sooner. Let's say you see somebody who's angry, and they're doing something like this. Like that. Or they look at you maybe like this. You probably can't see it. I had my hands to my side like this. So, you don't like it when somebody looks at you like that. And one thing I've noticed a lot in this world is if someone is angry, like, maybe a teacher or somebody who is in charge of a group of people, something, and people are not doing what they want, or maybe they feel that certain people are being uncooperative, difficult to work with, difficult to be around, maybe they don't want to deal with them anymore, then they get angry at that person. Now, that person was already angry probably to begin with, but then the person in charge is angry. See, I have a comment here. Good morning, keep safe, and God bless you always, friend. Well, thank you, Cheryl. Very nice to see you here on the Facebook page. You see, anger, it's like a toxic. And I will admit, I have, and I'm still dealing with anger. It's not a wonderful thing. Even Mr. Rogers got angry at his grandsons, when he was still alive. So, there's a YouTube video out there. You can see it. Type in Mr. Rogers anger, and he'll tell you a story about when his grandson was squirting water with a hose, and it almost got him wet, and he was very angry about that. And he said, "That's it, you've had it." And then he later felt bad about it and called his grandson. And then his grandson said to him, "Oh, Bubba," he called him Bubba. "Oh, Bubba, that's all right." I can't remember all the exact words. It's been a while since I've seen that video. But obviously, he forgave his grandfather. I had a lot of people get mad at me when I was a kid. I was surrounded by anger. And I eventually developed anger myself. So, what I'm trying to talk about as I arrive at my point, like I said, there's a lot to go through. I can't just, talk about it just like that in a few seconds. I mean, I have to tell a story first and then arrive at my point. There are a lot of people, and I've mentioned this in past videos, for people out there who may not hold the power of positive energy with them all the time, life can be really tough. And a lot of us have been through some very difficult experiences, and some of us may still be going through some now. You're carrying it around with you. You're carrying it like a backpack. It's always there. It's emotional baggage. And let's say you're still angry about certain things, or certain things may trigger you just as soon as somebody says something that reminds you of some bad memory that you don't want to remember. Like as soon as somebody says something, magic word triggers that memory, that trauma, and then you start getting angry and you start telling people, don't say that to me. Don't say that. It reminds me of something bad in the past. Don't say that. That's not a good way to live either. You know, to tell certain people you're never allowed to say a certain thing because it reminds you of bad memories, that's not healthy. So, what I'm trying to say is, I'm sure that a lot of you have a lot of wonderful people in your lives who are more positive and more happy than they are angry. Here's what I've done to help myself. Pay attention to the people in your lives, people you know who care about you. Now, I want you to think of the most positive people with the positive attitudes in your life. Think of that person or people who rarely ever gets angry. The person who cares about you. Spend time with that person. Let their good qualities rub off on you. Some of us may have had angry family members who were always around us, and now we're angry people ourselves because of it. If we spend time with people who are not angry and who are positive, then we'll be positive. So, don't let other people see that you're angry. Don't let other people have a bad image of you because you're always angry. That will happen as well. Certain people may not want to be your friend anymore because you're always angry all the time and you're always so unhappy and you talk about a lot of things that are not very wonderful for people to listen to. Don't do that. Now, this is a lifelong thing that we tend to deal with, and I'm still dealing with it. Anger never goes away. It's just if you're able to tone down, minimize, moderate how you let anger affect you as a human being, you as a person. We need to control how we let it affect us, how we let negative energy affect us. And once we know how it affects us, and once we understand ourselves much better, then there won't be an issue. You see, for people to understand better about themselves, to understand themselves fully, those are the wisest people. Those are the smart people, the people who understand themselves. Why I am the way I am, why I react to things the way I react, why I feel about things the way I feel about them. I'd like to ask some of you some questions, and please, I really want to see comments, productive comments, ones that contribute to what I'm saying. How do you deal with anger? What kind of things do you do to make you feel better? Please let me know. I really want to hear. First, I'll tell you how I deal with it. I like to listen to some wonderful music. I'm sure you've seen me, if you're a member of the Facebook page and the Facebook group here, you've seen me post lots of wonderful videos of the Bee Gees. I'm a big Bee Gees fan. I hope many of you are as well. I love the Bee Gees, especially their song, Man in the Middle. That's my favorite song of all time. Another thing that I normally do, and I have a very difficult job. When I come home, right before I go to bed, I like to watch episodes of Home Improvement. That's my favorite sitcom. It's very family friendly. It's wonderful. Good, clean fun. I love Home Improvement. Tim Allen is a genius. Yeah, I'm sure you'll make fun of me for that. But I'll take it as a compliment. Also, yesterday, I was with my girlfriend in Chinatown in Los Angeles. We'd never been there before, so we wanted to check it out. It's a fairly nice area. Great places to eat and to shop. And I recently, just yesterday, I bought one of those Chinese waterfalls that you probably normally see in a doctor's office. Yeah, I wanted to show it here on the broadcast, but obviously it's plugged in. It's in the next room, and I would have to carry it over here. So for future broadcasts, I'm going to have that Chinese waterfall in the shot here with me. It'd be great to have the waterfall with me. Yeah, I'd love that. It's great. So I've learned as I've gotten older, you see, we need to be open-minded. Open-minded and open-hearted. Whenever I was a kid or I was a young teenager and I would see those Chinese waterfalls like in a store, I always thought, why would anyone buy this? It's a waste of money. It's just some fancy thing that lights up and has some water. I mean, how's that any different from a lava lamp? Or a lamp, for that matter? But now that I'm older, I've learned, you see, those waterfalls, no matter where they're from, whatever kind of waterfall it is, I call it a Chinese waterfall because I bought it in Chinatown from a Chinese store. So that's why I call it that. Listening to that water, listening to the waterfall, just, closing your eyes, listening to that, it's supposed to relieve stress. It's supposed to increase your smile. It's supposed to increase your positive energy and your positive feelings. That's what those are meant for. Or even if you have a big fish tank and you have fish, it's nice to just hear the water, listen to the water flowing. Or if you're someone who lives close to a waterfall or a lake, just listening to nature. Yeah, taking a deep breath, closing your eyes, and meditating. That's a great way to relieve stress, especially for those of us who have some very stressful lives. I think it's a lot more of a good feeling to listen to a waterfall than it is to listen to, heavy traffic if you're living in a big city and listening to people honking their horns a lot. I heard a lot of that yesterday. So, yeah, not a great thing to listen to, especially when you hear people honking their horns or they come close to crashing into other cars and maybe they'll say some things to each other. And let's say we overhear all that, we'll look at that and go, oh, man, that wasn't very nice. I mean, I understand that the other person may have come close to hitting another car and that wouldn't have been fun at all. But, the fact that I can hear these people saying not very nice things to each other doesn't exactly brighten my day. Well, yeah, it wouldn't brighten mine either. But that shouldn't be our sole focus for the day. But yeah, these are some of the things that I do to relieve myself of stress, and obviously to spend time with my wonderful girlfriend. Her name's Laura. Yeah, she's certainly someone who is there for me, and I'm very happy and blessed to have her. So, obviously, if you have a favorite comedy that you like to watch, I would always recommend watch that at the very end of the day before you go to sleep. That way you end your day on a positive note, on a positive feeling. Or I would possibly recommend, it doesn't have to be a comedy, something that makes you happy. If you want to watch something like Mr. Rogers or some wonderful things on YouTube, there's plenty of good things out there. Or reading a book of something that you really, really like. It could be fictional. It could be, I don't know if I have followers here who possibly like watching or reading about horror stories. I mean, if that's something that takes away the stress, then do that. It doesn't take away my stress. It doesn't increase it either. It just, I would have to say I remain neutral on those subjects. But, watching Home Improvement, listening to the Bee Gees, listening to a song that really brightens your day. I know you've got to have some of those out there. Everybody likes music in some form or another. Try to end your day on a positive note, on a positive feeling. If the very last thing that you have to do, if you come home from a horrible day of work or whatever, if the very last thing that you need to do to end your day on a positive note means reading that good book, watching that great sitcom, listening to that fantastic music that you love, then that's how you should end your day. And not only that, I would say that's probably how you should start your day. Because when you get up at the beginning of your day, however it is you feel, before you even leave the house, the way you feel, that's how you're starting your day. I mean, it's you. It's not the people who you're going to have to work with. Like, tell me if you felt this way. I know I have. Oh, man. Oh, gosh. I just had to wake up this morning, and I know that I have to deal with this person or that person or those people today. Oh, man, I'm so unhappy. All right. Now you may think that these people, it's their fault for making you feel this way. Well, if that's the way you feel before you even get up out of bed, you're the one who's making yourself feel that way. You're allowing these people in your life to get to you in a bad way. So, yeah, however it is you feel before you even leave the house, that's all you. It's not them. They may make you feel that way. But who controls how you feel? Who controls your happiness? Who controls your feelings? Is it them? Or is it you? Do we control our feelings? Do we control our happiness? Do we control how we react to things? Yeah, that's us. It's not them. We're the only ones who can change the way we feel, even if it's a very unpleasant situation. So you got somebody watching. Hi, Gus. Nice to see you. Hope you can watch all the way from the beginning. There's some great information here. But yeah, I certainly hope that a lot of this has helped you guys out. Like I say, if you watch this video from the very beginning, I've shared the things that I do to help relieve myself of stress and try to increase the positive feelings in my life, even after coming home from a difficult day at work. Thank you, Gus. I'm glad you'll see everything. So yeah, that's just a lot of what I see going on in the world. People who may have difficult jobs, or maybe they have that dream job, but when they come home from work, they're just not happy, and they let it stay with them. It's like they're carrying a heavy load, and they're still allowing that emotional load to make them feel so unhappy. I know people. I want to share another story. I'll try to make it a little short. There was one time when I didn't agree with the way somebody was doing something, and I thought they were doing a really lousy job. And I let them know, and I had the expectation that by the time I got done letting this person know this, I thought they wouldn't like me very much and would never speak to me ever again. But that person was so forgiving to me. They didn't look at me and thought, oh gosh, it's them again. I don't want to talk to this person. No, they talked to me and they were forgiving. They responded with mature humility. They admitted they were wrong. They told me they were sorry, and they didn't do anything to me, but they said they were sorry for the way they were doing things and the way that made other people like me feel. The way they responded was so forgiving. was so mature. I did an emotional 180, and I had a very good image of that person, and still do to this day. Unfortunately, that person is now deceased, but I will always remember that and have a very good image of that person. The point I'm trying to make is that person did not respond to me with anger or any kind of negative energy. Now, some of you may have people in your lives who don't seem to have very many good things to say to you. Maybe they criticize the way you do things, your job, or whatever it is that you do in your lives. You probably have people out there who the only time they want to talk to you is when they have something negative to say. Yeah, I know. I'm not, trust me, I'm not excited about seeing those people, because like, oh man, here they are. What negative thing are they going to say to me today? Because that's all they ever seem to do when they're around me. Like I say, dignification is better than criticism. If you have people like that in your lives, let them know. Every time I see you, you never have anything nice to say to me. Have you noticed that? I would really like that to come to an end. Please don't do that to me anymore. And I hope that they listen to you. So, whenever I hear someone say kind words to me, I always say thank you for your kind words, because not very many people have kind words for everybody. So, these are just some of the ways I recommend dealing with anger. Please let me know if you agree, and please don't be afraid to share with me how you deal with anger. Maybe you have much more innovative, effective ways, great ideas, and I'd love to hear them. I'm open-minded to learning about it, and I'm open-hearted to really consider it. All right, guys. Well, glad I was able to do this with you today, even though it's a little later. So, please, try to deal with that anger in the best way. I'll see you next week. God bless. And please remember, dignification is better than criticism.